I am the reader, or so the story began. I sat opening pages to escape from myself, only for the words to lead me straight back to me. I realized too late that I was not reading the story of another man, but reading my own life written in calm ink, without shouting, without reproach. It never crossed my mind that I would reach this point, to enter a house I built with the years of my back and sit in it like a cautious guest, weighing his steps, measuring his voice, afraid of staying too long. 50 years have passed, half a century of work, of attempts, of small dreams that grew, then shrank, then vanished without farewell. On the morning of my birthday, the light was pale. A small cake, few candles, and a smile performing its duty with precision. My son's wife said, "Happy birthday, Uncle." The word hung in the air as if searching for a place to land. It found none. I blew out the candles and joined the applause of my own laughter, but something inside me withdrew, sat in a dark corner, and never returned. I used to think aging was a rest, a chair by the window, a cup of coffee, a contemplation of what I had planted. No one told me that aging could be a season of drought, that a person might wither while surrounded by people. My first wife was neither my shadow nor the support of my days. After the separation, I lived alone in a small house on the edge of the city. I planted more flowers than hopes. I turned up the radio to deceive the night and left the television on so the silence would not expose itself. I searched my phone for my children's names. I pressed the numbers, then pulled back, and when one of them called, his voice was hurried, as if speaking to me were a passing stop in a crowded day. I would say, "It's fine, life is like that." Then came the offer. "Come live with us. The house is big, and you'll always be with us." I believed the words the way a drowning man believes a piece of wood. The next day I packed my belongings with a trembling hand. I stood for a long time before the door of my old house. I did not close it right away. I kept turning back to it, as if apologizing. I gave the neighbor everything inside, even the blanket that had warmed my long nights, and closed the door. I thought I was opening another. At first, everything seemed right. Laughter, shared coffee, and a nearby garden where I went out with my grandson. I told him stories about his father when he was small, his first mistakes, his old laugh. I saw myself in the child's eyes and said, "Here I am, returning." But details do not lie. Details are always the first to speak the truth. "Lower the TV volume. Stay in your room tonight. No need to cook." Short, polite phrases, yet they felt like doors quietly closing. And on an ordinary evening, I heard her say to her friend, "His presence is comfortable, like a piece of furniture." I stood behind the door. I did not cry. I did not shout. In that moment, I simply learned how a human being turns into a shadow. I began to wake up early. I made my coffee alone. I sat by the window, watching the street. I heard them say, "Don't bother Grandpa, he's always tired." I smiled to myself. I was not tired. I was only sad, and sadness is invisible. A shy evening, my son came in and said, "Maybe you're bored here. What do you think about spending some time in the countryside?" I understood the sentence the way unsaid messages are understood. I smiled and agreed. I left in the morning. I kissed my grandson while he was asleep. I did not look back. This time I learned how to close doors without apologizing. I rented a small apartment, one room and a kitchen, but they were mine. I made my coffee slowly, talked to myself, read, let letters that never reached anyone, then tore them up. I heard the neighbors laugh and smiled, not of envy, but of longing. On a cold morning, I stood for a long time before the mirror. I looked at my face, at the wrinkles that no longer felt ashamed to appear, and said out loud, "I have grown old, yes, but I have not lost my worth. I do not need anyone to see me in order to exist."
I learned that loneliness is not an empty house, but a full one where no one sees you, that dignity does not ask permission, and that the most beautiful thing a person can do at the end of the road is to make peace with himself and say quietly, "I did what I could, and that is enough." If you are reading me now, pause for a moment. Perhaps you are not reading the story of another man. Perhaps you are reading yourself in a near or distant future. Do not let their failure to see you erase you. Look at yourself clearly. There is still room in life for an inner peace that belongs to no one but you.